Hello, everyone. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to Mapmaker Monday. Perfect. Thank you, Atlan. Thank you. Do you not hear the music at all? It was just fading right there, so it's just starting back up. Test. Hey, Rev. Enjoy your meeting. Good luck. Knock 'em dead, my friend. Can hear the music now, indeed. Indeed. Every time I see the word indeed, it reminds me of Stargate. My Steam feed just came online. I've got TikTok and Twitch. Looks like everything is live. Right? In this house, we worship the Great Ring. Hey, Mondu, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back. We'll give everyone a minute to kind of roll in as we kind of prepare for Mapmaker Monday. Lunch? What'd you put in the oven, my friend? Tell me about it. Let's hear it. Oof. Straight up customer service call. Good luck, my friend. You got this. Noisette potatoes? Interesting. So I just want to say welcome to Atlam, Rev, Mondu, and Chim. Hello. Glad you're here. We've also got a couple lurkers in the background. I really appreciate everyone who is here. Whether you're actively chatting or lurking, you are a valued member of the stream, so thank you so much for being a part of it. I think last stream we were focusing on this area around the pond, but before we jump into that, I want to show everyone what we've been working on here, because it's been quite a build. This map started in this corner here. This map is now 82 by 82. Started with this little entry point and a pond, and now we have... well, let's take a look. This. A massive cemetery complex that is grown bit by bit every Monday for the last, 6-7 months. About a half hour a week. We work on this map, and this entire cemetery complex has become very vast and also very detailed. We're currently working on the caretaker's cottage or property in this corner, and then afterwards we're going to focus on this area here, which will be a combination of pauper graves and like terraced, like high quality graves. I had a wonderful weekend. I hope you had a good weekend as well, my friend. But as you can see here, this is the entry point. We got a lovely road that I kind of paved by hand, a little parking lot, big cathedral with a garden, some graves for the people who have served this, clergy over the years, paladins, clerics, priests, nuns, etc., martyrs of all types. Over here we have kind of generic mid-level graves. Here we have a private grave site meant for the this sort of well-to-do, family, or probably a royal family. Here is where we've been working on the caretaker's cottage, which has been quite a bit of work because I see him as a green thumb, the person who is maintaining all these trees and shrubs and hedges and flowers and helps dig graves and does tons of work around the property. This beautiful garden here is likely maintained by him as well. Daniel, yeah, it's improved quite a bit, hasn't it, over the last few years? Or do you mean the actual, the cemetery, or do you mean Dungeon Alchemist as a whole? Just want some clarification there. Because the cemetery has gotten quite vast as well. How are you doing today, Daniel? DA as a whole has gotten insanely impressive over the years. Lots of improvements. And our next update will be the largest change of all when we add multi-level. Multi-level generation with rooms and also roofing. It's going to be a big update. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. Appreciate you tuning in, and if you have any questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions, or I already said suggestions, didn't I? No, I said questions, concerns, feedback, or suggestions. There we go. Let me know, and I will try my best to address them. I'm going to add some more ground here. Oh no! They could find a fairy ring. Cool. Honestly, I'm glad you're here, Daniel. Appreciate you tuning in. We've had a lot of progress on this map. But honestly, it's getting nearer to being done, and I'm considering what we're going to work on next, which I'm going to make like a massive sewer and catacomb system to kind of pair with this map. That would be the underlying area. If that makes any sense. There we go. Got us a little fenced off area. So a little pond, if the caretaker wants to go in and take a swim, he can, but there's a koi and some ducks. Hey, Primal Edge, how you doing? Happy Mapmaker Monday to you, my friend. How's everyone's map making going this week or weekend? Did you get any session prep done for your campaigns? Or did you play in a campaign? If you did, let's hear about it. Otherwise, I'd love to chat about any session prep you're doing, though. Map making, encounter prep, stat blocks, ideas for stories. Let's talk about it. I'm trying to figure out what to do with this section here. I want it to be a sunflower garden. So you got to make a town map? How big of a town map is it going to be? So Aaron over on TikTok says, I'm still lost on how to build second floor buildings or different houses with just roofs. Currently, right now, Aaron, that's done with a little bit of trickery. In the current build, roofing and multi-level is done by hand. So, just to give you an example, like on this map here, I have a 3-story bell tower, right? And everything over this line, here, let me turn on the mouse highlighter here. Everything over this line is objects. Everything below this line is rooms. So you use the room tool on the first floor, but you use objects above the first floor. So if you look at the object menu, objects and then structural, there is thousands of structural objects that match the current palette. You have freestanding walls, for instance. These walls are pairs to all the walls in the wall menu, but they are objects, which means you can raise and lower them, you can resize them. I'm going to grab one that looks strikingly similar, but not the exact same, just to kind of show you. But this is that wall right there, right? Instead of it being attached to the base of a structure, a foundation, a floor, it is now an object. I disable collisions, which allows me to raise and lower this object. If I hold control while I'm moving it, it'll snap into place, and then I can raise it up until it's aligned with the floor next to it, right? Now I've got it lined up, I can just start duplicating it and snapping them into place all the way around. If you hold shift when you make an object placement, it'll duplicate it automatically. But as you can see here, I'm quickly adding the second floor, or, you know, a vaulted area. Now with roofing, roofing is similar. There's really not much options for roofing currently in Dungeon Alchemist. Our next update will solve that. But for now, if you click on this Steam Workshop tab here, Aaron, and go to Browse Assets, right? Once you're in here, type roof or ceiling. There are hundreds of thousands of roofing options. Some are modular that like snap together that make very custom roofs. Some are like a single roof in a piece that you can just put on there that's like a square or like a traditional angled roof. You download one of these, you can kind of resize it, throw it on top of most standard, you know, rectangular or square structures. Until our next update launches, though, the workshop is definitely pulling a lot of weight when it regards roofing. The majority of roofing options available are here, and there is quite a bit of them. So if you follow my cursor here, the green cursor, if you go up to the top menu, there's the Steam Workshop tab. You click that. You can either browse maps, which there's over 11,000 free maps that our community has shared. You can just download and utilize right away. Or you click Browse Assets, and there's over 8,800 assets, nearing 9,000 assets. This expands upon your object menu, giving you objects that aren't there to, you know, expand upon your build options. So maybe you want a shark in your build. We don't have a shark in our menu. Maybe you want some boots that aren't the boots we offer. Or maybe you're looking for a roof. You type in roof. Yeah, no worries, my friend. Oops, I added too many O's. So, Aaron, I'm actually the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. You're on the official Dungeon Alchemist channel. If you have any questions, this is a great place to ask, because I know a lot about this product. I know it inside and out. Spent 3,000 hours or more making maps and looking at maps. Let's try ceiling, see if there's anything. Yeah, quite a bit there too. Anyway, between the two, you can supplement your roofing options, download a roof, and pop it on top of things. But our next update will solve this problem altogether. Just letting you know, you'll be able to generate rooms with roofing with relative ease. Let me show you a couple of roof prototypes we're working on right now. This is like alpha, beta at the moment, but it is coming along. Let's see. I had a session yesterday. We've been journeying to a dwarven city for about a year now, meet once a month. Found out the city is controlled by an Italian mafia social structure amongst dwarven families. That's hilarious. I'm going to make you an offer you cannot refuse. Thank you for abiding by me on this, the day of my daughter's wedding. Dwarven Mafia sounds hilarious. I love it. Dwarven cannolis. I love it. Volkari says, right now I'm prepping to take turn at DM for a while, making a Drow City in the Underdark. So lots of Feywild biomes for Underdark travel. I'm hoping to build an 80s, 90s WCW style wrestling arena that the players can take part in a WrestleMania encounter. Oh my goodness, that'll be hilarious. Props, Volkari. Thank you for sharing, that's so cool. Your players spent 13 gold? What did they buy? Okay, so Cali Psych, yeah, we have been busting butt on this map for a few months. It's 82 by 82 now. Keep in mind that's only about a half hour a week, because we get, questions coming in during the stream. We showcase teasers and whatnot, so it's not just straight, map making. Hey, Pata Ratata? Hello, how are you doing? Pata Ratata, is that how it's pronounced? Wondering, what is the minimum configuration? You mean the minimum requirements for Dungeon Alchemist? It's listed on our Steam store page, but I'll just read it off to you, or actually show it to you on stream here. Right now, you can run Dungeon Alchemist in Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. Minimum Windows 7, i5 650, or AMD Phenom 2. 8 gigabytes of RAM. Though personally, I recommend 16 or higher if you want to build maps of reasonable size. The larger your map is, the more RAM and graphics processing you'll need. So essentially, and just continuing with minimum graphics, GeForce GTS 450 or Radeon HD 5770. Now, keep in mind, Dungeon Alchemist maps, the larger the map, the more resource it takes. So if you are making a map that's, say, 20 by 20, it'll be significantly different than a 100 by 100 map. The larger the map is, the more resources it takes to view the map. There's lighting, there's animations, there's a lot of things in tandem all going on at the same time. You know what, Robert Thomas? That's a great suggestion. Over here in this pond, a little treasure, maybe kind of like Zelda style. We have a couple ponds on the map. Maybe I should add something to them. We've got the pizza pond over here, as we call it. Wow, TikTok, thank you for all the likes. We're over 200 likes already. Much appreciated. Yeah, I would definitely recommend Ratata downloading the free demo. You can kind of test drive it before you buy and see how it runs on your system. The demo is like, I think 6.7 gigs at the moment. Maybe 7 gigs. Between 6 and 7 gigs. It's really modest in size for a modern, software or game. I highly recommend trying it out. Having some trouble with my Steam feed. I'm gonna reload. kind of like crashing over and over and over again. Oh, I'm just gonna... There we go. This is a much better reload. And honestly, the demo is a great slice of the overall Dungeon Alchemist pie. It gives you access to our forest biome and the ability to build a tavern. You can even export it, you know, for print or for your virtual tabletop of choice. So you can make a map for free on us, though it's a limited subset of our biomes, room types, and objects. You have like, you know, over 100 room types, I believe. Thousands of objects available in the full version. Plus, one huge benefit is access to the Steam Workshop repository of maps and assets shared by our community. Nearly 11,200 maps and almost 9,000 3D models shared by our community. We have, you know, something like 6,500, 7,000 stock assets, but once you jump into the workshop, you can download all sorts of things to supplement your build. You know, styles of objects that aren't in the base Dungeon Alchemist set. Hey, Cartographer, how you doing, my friend? How was your stream? So, I was just kind of improvising a dwarven Italian mafia, and I have headphones on, so I didn't even hear myself talking. My apologies. If it was a little off, it's also, you know, 9 in the morning here where I live. But I think I was pretty close to a, maybe a dwarven king or mob boss. Listen here, lads. On this, the day of my daughter's wedding, you will be on your best behavior. Dude, you know, we need to sit down, like, have a sit down on your stream and balance your audio and video, like, fine tune it, like fine wine, because it can make a huge difference in the curb appeal of your stream, like we discussed last week in our meeting. So if you're interested, I would love to try and schedule something with you in the next couple of weeks to help you fine tune that. You're running a campaign of Japanese-inspired aesthetics. So on the workshop, actually, there are lots of maps that use kind of an Asian or like a cultural aesthetic from that kind of theme. Even just this last week, a user in our community shared a map during a map-making contest we have called the Dam Challenge, called the Emperor's Grove. And this map here is very kind of like a... you know, that aesthetic. There are hundreds of objects on the workshop to supplement that theme, and a lot of the assets we offer stock kind of fit into it as well. I mean, like, there is I know we're adding Wisterias and a few other things in the next update as well. You didn't miss anything too serious. I did some minor work and then answered some questions. I really haven't gotten much done today. So I need to figure out what to do right here. I'm thinking of making this just like a small room, so it's a field type. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to just whatever room type that isn't a pit. I guess I can make it a field. I'm going to turn off, under the AI settings right here, I'm going to turn off everything but floor. I'm going to rotate this so I get a better grasp. Too big. Too big. This could be perfect, though, for a little field of sunflowers, is what I'm going to do. But yeah, currently right now in the pond, only there's like life, little plants and animals. I could put a little treasure down there. It'd be fun. I'll consider it, though, for sure. Oh, no. Ah! The room I just drew, I undid it. Let's rotate this again. The bears. And then what I'll do is just make this a little bit out so I can put a stone to it. It's close to that. Let's try generating this, see what it does. I don't want to ruin this area, so if it deletes anything, I might undo it. Hard to tell if it's close enough or not. Ooh, perfect. Little low, though, like a depressed field. So we're going to raise it up a bit. Then generate it. That is perfect. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Now I'll go to the floor and change it to these fields. Should I do these ones? Or those look too dry. This farmland looks fertile. We'll do that one. And then I'm going to just start filling it in with sunflowers. That's kind of my plan for this area. And then I could put like a little planter of stones around it. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Where were those that I used over here? It was this. Hey, Matt, how you doing? Thank you. Are you gonna attempt to eat me? Is that, Wish you could use... Oh. Oh, got you. You wish you could use Dungeon Alchemist in 3D? To be honest with you, I understand your feedback there. A lot of people in our community would like to like export it to use it 3D, either with like Foundry or like you know, a number of other software tools. I will like to point out though that 3D at the moment is kind of in its infancy when it comes to this type of situation, when it comes to virtual tabletops and map making and stuff, and you know, making it accessible for internet's like of all types and, you know, computers of all types. Case in point, Project Sigil just launched and essentially failed on launch because it had such high demands of software that pretty much no one could run it. So with that in mind, I think that 3D exports, while lofty and would be very amazing to support it, it's really not where the industry is at right now, and like standard, like average computer software, and it would take a while until it's, you know, more standard developed and like integrated across the board. Now that being said, Dungeon Alchemist wasn't really developed with that in mind, so we really didn't make this program to be exported in 3D. And as a result of which, in order to accommodate to that, we'd have to essentially gut it and redesign it from the ground up, which is something we're really not prepared to do. We don't want to do that at all. Dungeon Alchemist, you know, is really good in its current state, and it supports quite a few people who use it as a more, you get it, right? 3D printing a map in DA would be insane. Like, I have 3 3D printers behind me. I love 3D printing. You're preaching to the choir, right, More? I love it. But 3D printing a map in DA would be a nightmare because of support removal and, like, making sure that every object has the proper supports. Not to mention a map of this scale would be printing for, like, weeks. It's just not viable, like at a like base level, to support either 3D exports for 3D printing or for, you know, video game design through like another, you know, tool like, you know, Unity, or like I guess through Unity or through whatever, Unreal, or even just 3D export for tabletop sim or any 3D based virtual tabletop kind of system. And Matt, like, honestly, it's nothing against you. I would love it personally. I just think we're kind of just not there yet. You know what I mean? It's gonna take a while till we are where it's like, the average internet speed is, you know, supportive and conducive to this. You know, the average computer is supportive and conducive to this. And additionally, like, people are ready to jump from their top-down flat maps to full 3D. I don't know. I think we're getting close, but I think it's still a few years out. Anyway, so I appreciate that, Matt. We work really hard to, make Dungeon Alchemist a very, simple tool to use for everyone. Whether you have, very impressive, powerful computer hardware, or you have just, a generic run-of-the-mill, computer. I mean, Dungeon Alchemist running on Linux is a testament to that. We really want it to be accessible for all. Right, Moore, you agree. It seems so cool, like when you say it out loud. Oh, 3D printed maps. But when you look at this thing, this would be a nightmare to print. Even if you did it in blocks, it would take weeks. Weeks! And then you would have to remove... Oh my gosh. Oh, the dissolvable supports that you could do with like dual extrusion would come in handy here. But yeah, I mean, 3D is usually asked for multiple things. Game design, so people want to export these 3D models, which are our, proprietary models, to put in their own, video game, which we probably won't do because we protect our IP, right? Secondly, people want to export it for virtual tabletops, like Tabletop Simulator, Tailspire, maybe 3D Canvas. The problem is none of those systems offer 3D import at all. They're all either enclosed to their own 3D system, or 3D models, if you were to export something like this, would be hundreds and hundreds of megabytes. It'd be like a gigabyte or more for the detail behind this. So it just wouldn't be viable to set up in a system like that. And then lastly was we just didn't design it for that. All our maps were really just designed to be top down. But Matt, I understand what you're after. It is the end goal for all virtual tabletops and map making would be full 3D immersion, maybe even VR support. It would be amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, I want that for our future, but I just think we're not there yet. It's just like, we're on the cusp of greatness, right? We're so close. So Dungeon Alchemist exports to a number of virtual tabletops themselves. Here, let me save really quick a couple of times because I just don't trust any save mechanic. So we export for Roll20, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Above VTT, and any virtual tabletop that supports the universal VTT format, which is like several dozen now. We also export as an image file, print formats, video files, or order for print by delivery through our partner Kraken Wargames, who makes custom neoprene game mats with like scratch resistant, waterproof, spill proof game mats. So we offer a number of different exports for both all the common and most popular virtual tabletops, and then a number of other systems, and custom options. In our future, we plan to offer our own kind of VTT support. What that is and what it remains to, what it will be, remains to be seen in the future. I would love to be like a full 3D supported VTT in tandem to Dungeon Alchemist, but, it also needs to support all the people who currently use Dungeon Alchemist to make maps. Oh my gosh, 10 hours just for one scene in Tomb of Annihilation Stein? Oh my gosh. Could you imagine printing all that? Okay, let's fill out this field of sunflowers. What I'll do, though, is I'll make sure they're all turned the same way, so at the end of the day, they kind of look like they're all facing the sunlight. I'm going to have some that are shorter or sunken down a little bit so they don't feel as tall. For sure. Peter Rabbit would love this place. Pretty much anyone from the Easter Bunny picnic would absolutely love this. This is the caretaker's cottage on a massive cemetery complex that I've been building over the past few months. Oh man, don't get me started on how much I love sunflower seeds. I'm gonna have to go order a big bag of them after the stream. Sunflower seeds are so good. And I also love the kernels, you know, just by themselves, so I don't have to waste time opening sunflower seeds. But sometimes I like the practice of opening sunflower seeds. Depends on the day. Sometimes I like the challenge, you know? So this started in this corner. It's now 82 by 82, and it is a huge cemetery complex. Oh no, don't make me sad. Watership Down is rough. I swear, like, all early animation and shows meant for kids were meant to traumatize them. So there's a chapel where they facilitate the many, you know, funerals with a lovely garden around it so you can kind of walk around and maybe have a sit or, you know, some prayer, etc. Here we have some burials of the various, like, people who may have served for the church over the years. Clerics, paladins, priests, priestess, etc. Martyrs. This big street system down the center. This will all be graves, by the way, this dead space. There's some more graves over here. Kind of medium-style graves. More advanced, like, this is a private plot from maybe royal family. And then here we have the caretaker's cottage, which, oh, the staircase disappeared. No! I've been building this up a little bit at a time each week to, as you can see, the caretaker does a lot of work to maintain all the hedges and flowers and trees, digs graves. The guy is busy, so he has his own property and he maintains it and keeps it very, very clean, and also it looks beautiful. Well, this is hundreds of years of burials. This is like, you know, it's not necessarily like one conflict. I would say this place is gonna, when it's all done, it'd probably, all the burials would span like close to 1,000 years, maybe 500 to 1,000 years for like a neighboring city or town. Okay, let's add some more. Shrink some down. Just kind of tuck them in between. So all the sunflowers pointing in roughly the same direction, getting that sun. In fact, let's verify where the sun is really quick so we can make sure we're accurate here. I don't know where it is 100%, so I'm just kind of guessing at the moment. Oh, okay. We got to turn them a little bit, but it's close. We'll turn them that direction. We'll be set. Rotating, rotating, rotating. Hey, thank you for the follow, Kevin. Much appreciated. How you doing today? Speaking of which, TikTok, thank you for all the likes. We're almost 550 likes today. That means a lot to me. Or 550 likes now. Thank you so much for the love and support. Those likes, as you know, TikTok is very algorithmic. You know, it really helps to get us noticed as a stream, so thank you so much for doing that. Rev, how was the meeting? So you mean just like a sunflower, Mondu? Oh, you mean like in the if the sunflowers followed the sun? He's a Sag sunflower. It could be a necromancer candy store, David. Yes, it could. It would just be cool if I rotated the sun and then the sunflowers moved with it. But you know what I should have done? I just should have moved the sun. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I moved every sunflower instead of moving the sun. I have the power of a god in my fingertips. I moved every sunflower. It's early in the morning on the West Coast. Just give me a break here, okay? Oh my goodness. I am disappointed in myself. That was quite hilarious. I also deleted this staircase earlier, so I gotta fix it. Too high. Let's do a point. Oh, that works. And then I'm just gonna blend it by playing with the wood coloring until it's a little bit closer. Yeah, none of them match actually, so we'll just leave it at the base color. But right now, I think that looks like a fun little, swimming pond. Very cool. Oh my gosh, 2,000 likes on TikTok? I looked away for 35 seconds. We went from 500 likes to 2,000 likes. Thank you so, so much for all the love. Much appreciated. I need a butterfly over here. We could put one like on a sunflower too. Wonder if TikTok could. I mean, they're pushing it already. They're at almost 2,500. TikTok, when you motivate them, they get rabid. They do not like being told they can't do something. I bet TikTok couldn't get us to 10,000 likes by the end of the stream. I'm just kidding. So back to over here, we kind of worked on. Hey, Antics and Rolls, are you feeling any better, my friend? Hope you are on the mend. They took that personally because they're almost up to 3K. So I think they took it personally. What other things should I put in the caretaker's like private greenhouse? So as I see him as like this astute green thumb who like loves challenging himself to like make better and better plants, or like be able to not make them but like be able to maintain them. He has his private garden here in his greenhouse, which has rare, flora from around the world, right? So, rare fruits, mushrooms from the Feywild, and flowers from the Feywild. Cacti. Ooh, special fertilizers, Mondu. That makes sense. And then we have a dryad here. We have a living bonsai and a couple of other bonsai. And then some custom plants. You know, just different orchids and fey flowers. And then we have here his mandrake collection. Trying to keep it family friendly, David Larson. While I appreciate the suggestion. Bench would be an interesting thing. I could put like a bench here or here, and then maybe some lighting in the mushrooms to make them glow, or in the fey plants. I kind of need one more plant here, I'm feeling like. I like the bench idea, though. So I could make this kind of an extension of his shed, right? And put more supplies here, like fertilizers and things like that. The gardening tools are in here in his shed. And adjacent. Or around the property. That would be a good idea. An empty planter is smart. Rev, interesting, interesting. I could put a display case or a planter, and he's like, I'm waiting to find the perfect plant. Interesting. I love these suggestions, everyone. Let's keep them coming. Let's keep them coming. Basket with some hand tools, or maybe a toolbox or something. I like the basket. Maybe even a hat. Okay, let's look for some benches first. We had benches as a suggestion, right? I think some stone benches that are flat. Ooh, maybe even these marble ones. Something like this. And then we could put it like right here, but shrink it a little bit. So it's like you can sit and you can admire the plants. But it's not necessarily too much. I could even put a plant in here and another bench. I don't know. Benches kind of seem excessive, though. I'm having second thoughts about the benches. I want a clear path of egress. Now that I put them in there. We could put like a nice planter like this, something like that, and he's like, for when I get, you know, the perfect plant. Or one of these kind of planters that are like pointed. Ooh, pathway. I like that. A stool to sit on while he's managing the bonsai and stuff makes sense. We could put a little stool in here that he could pull out when he needs it, you know? It's just sitting here. But what I'm thinking of is I like the sunken path. Let's see if we can try one of the... Oop. Nope. I keep clicking the wrong thing. You know what? I'll just grab it. Pathway of loose stones. So what I was thinking of the pathway, hear me out, okay? We've got columns, right? And all our columns have like different tops. So we take this column and we sink it down. And now it kind of looks like a beautiful paver. What do y'all think of that one? That look pretty good? Is there one that looks like a 4-leaf clover? These kind of look interesting. Let's try one of these. Oh, that's big. That's massive. That one? Which one do y'all like the most? I actually kind of like the idea of this being a ground planter here. Look at this. Put some plants in it so it's on the ground. Really enjoying this. Okay, we're at 4,000 likes now. TikTok is insane. There's a real, like, four-leaf clover looking one, huh? So we got 4 options here. Which paver should we use? Or I guess 3 out of these. Four circles. This one. Something like that. There's an identical dark version. Am I blind? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I like the darker version too. Is there a chat for the stream on Discord? Unfortunately, Discord doesn't allow multi-streaming. Right now, we're multi-streaming on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and Steam simultaneously. But unfortunately, Discord does not allow multi-streaming, so they're not a part of this multi-stream that we do each week. We do offer a Discord exclusive stream every Wednesday, though. It's called Office Hours. So if you want to tune in for that, you're more than welcome. But if you Venus flytrap, we do actually have one over here in his backyard. Though it could be in the private garden. This is behind his house. That is a good suggestion. The white was too busy, I feel like. I like this, though. Just focusing on this stone. Give me a minute to just kind of get it fine-tuned. Whew. So yesterday I did a ton of like work around my house. I've been saving up cans for like years, like probably since before the pandemic, like soda cans, beer cans. I go out and collect them, I recycle them, and I just throw them in my garage in bags. They're just stacked all over in my garage. And I've been crushing them to make more room so I can go recycle them. And I'm not even joking you when I say, yet I have crushed probably 20, 30 bags of cans, and there's still more. So I've condensed these cans from like, the big cans down into like flat, tiny pieces and put them into, more bags. And it's just taken up so much space and time. But the problem is you got to have a good amount so when you go recycle them, it's like worthwhile. Anyway, recycling centers don't pay out that much in Vegas, so I'm trying to get a lot of stuff before I take it in. But yeah, tons of cans and tons of other scrap metal I've just been hoarding for a while before I go take it all in at once. What plants should I put in this little planter down here? Be thinking of that. At least in cans, yeah, just in cans. I have a bit of copper, I have some brass, I have some stainless, I have a ton of iron and steel. I've just been kind of hoarding it for a while. It's kind of a hobby I do on the side. I'll hoard up tons of like recyclable metals and then take them in, get a little bit of cash. It's nice to have to both, help out and also have some extra cash. Oh, that's a good idea. I'll consider it. I don't have a ton of brass or copper, though. It's kind of what I have the least of. Most of what I have is aluminum and, like, steel and iron. I also have my own kind of, like, little furnace. Like, it's a propane furnace that I can hook up a propane tank and do smelting and melting. I was kind of playing around with making ingots and stuff, but oh man, it is hot and tedious, but I enjoy it. Just something I do for fun on the side. Knife guards, oh, for sure. Honestly, like, I've been wanting to learn how to make a knife, actually. Like, I bought a bunch of railroad ties, and I was going to use those to kind of learn. David, it sounds like you have a bit of blacksmithing knowledge. You probably do your own recycling. Nice. How long you been into it? You mean the new custom object brush in the next update, Mondu? Without just, testing it, I would assume so. I'd assume it matches all the properties of the object. But now that you've asked, I'll probably load it up later today just to check. Sound good? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, for sure. Probably save a ton. But I love this type of finish work. It's a lot of little details that I prefer adding to my maps. I don't know. Like, I know most maps are throwaway encounters. But to me, this is fun. This is really enjoyable. Okay, what plants should I put in this little planter we made? You know, probably. I live in Vegas, so there's likely all sorts of maker clubs and blacksmithing clubs I could check out. But the problem is, I have an aversion to people outside my home. That's nothing against you people. I actually just. My wife is incredibly immunocompromised. So anybody I interact with outside the home is a calculated risk, so to speak. So basically, I try not to, go to social events, clubs, things like that, where there might be lots of people. Antics is going crazy a little bit. I love when y'all's OCD gets the best of you on stream. Y'all be watching, and then you're like, Mac, no, you gotta fix that. You gotta change that actually right now. Just makes me laugh. You don't have a list of ideas for future upgrades. Yeah, I think that way is the best. Okay, what plants should I put in here? And I might even have room more for planters now. I could put like some along these. Like these weird open spaces. Let me save really quick. It's been a hot minute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it took a moment to save, so. What was almost believable, Atlam? Put in like a little plant like this. Oh, I know he does. F. Need some plants in here still. Hmm. Flowers, I'm thinking. Hmm. Have an idea. The cat's trying to get in. It's a Fey trap if you've ever seen one. You want to put some lanterns right here. Probably just put like like a stool right in here somewhere. Like it's like, oh, I was trimming this. Don't have any trimmers, so I'm gonna probably just put some scissors here on the stool. And to decide if I should put something in these spaces. Little planters under there. Nice. Very cool. I feel like this has come along quite well, though I do want to add some of the other additions you mentioned. Earlier we were discussing like a sack or something. This could be like fertilizer or whatever. And even add a color to it. Hmm. Ah, James, how you doing? I just saw this. So, Dungeon Alchemist offers direct interaction with Foundry. Our maps export directly to Foundry. In fact, if you click the export menu, one moment, stand by here, James. From one bulb to another, I'm sure we can relate here. This map is quite large, so give it a moment. It's been a while since I saved, so it might take a moment. Okay, so if you look at the export menu for Dungeon Alchemist, our maps export to a variety of different systems. Foundry is one of them. You can export as a still image or a JPEG in this case, or you can export as a video, an MP4 or a WebM video. So our maps export as a still image or a video for Foundry, and if you build a map with, say, buildings on it like this one here, right? Or this greenhouse here, this shed, etc. These add line of sight markers, window, door, wall markers, etc. to help with your fog of war creation on your maps. This map is quite vast, I will add to that. You know, it's a quite an epic build that we've been working on here on stream, just to showcase how it's possible to build insanely huge epic builds. But James, all in all, Dungeon Alchemist offers direct support for Foundry. I can attest to that. I actually have used Dungeon Alchemist and Foundry numerous times. Here, let me have a clip of Dungeon Alchemist in Foundry. It's been a minute since I... So this was me showing kind of how it was possible to use Dungeon Alchemist to make tiles of the objects in it. And this is a map of mine I created and imported into Foundry, but this drill is an asset in Dungeon Alchemist, and I was able to turn it into a tile using our green screen biome. So we offer, you know, like 10 plus biomes, environmental biomes, and a couple utility biomes. Additionally, you can generate maps in moments with just a few clicks, or you can get really in-depth and detail the maps by hand and add tons of specific details to your very exact needs. So when you export even like this cave, for instance, James, the cave walls, if you look at this dark area on the top here, where I'm kind of highlighting with my mouse, this is generated as a wall automatically in Dungeon Draft. Now, I won't say 100% of all things generate walls automatically or they'll be perfect. Once in a while, you may need to make some adjustments or put in a wall by hand, but it's far less frequent than other tools. It includes a lot of that stuff automatically. Animations to Roll20, that's a very good question, Hateful. So animations in Roll20 only just became a thing. Prior to maybe 2 months ago, it was all mod supported. They only just released news and information that they now support animated maps and have increased their file sizes. I suppose with time, we'll likely add animated map exports for Roll20, but it would require, you know, us to fine-tune the exports specifically to them. Now that they've added video support, it's only a matter of time. We're usually just a step behind them, if you will. So we have to wait until they release a feature, at which point we can then, you know, make an update patch to work with it. Hey, James, if you have any other questions, let me know. Keep in mind the demo is just a small slice of the pie. It gives you access to our forest biome and allows you to create a tavern. You can export for Foundry right in that in the demo. You can kind of give it a try. The size of the map, the overall access to objects and tools and individual like terrain biomes and room types is limited because of the demo. But it gives you a great idea of how well it'll run on your computer. Sort of a test drive, so to speak. If you do end up buying Dungeon Alchemist, feel free to drop into any of the streams or hop into our Discord. We provide support in our Discord and in the streams in real time. The streams are all AMA, which means ask me anything. So if you're like trying to build something, you're wondering how to do it, drop in, ask me, and I'll let you know. Or you can hop into our Discord, create a question thread, and myself, our mods, or our very, very supportive community will dive in and help you out. Oh, no, this is a video I was showcasing because someone was asking if Dungeon Alchemist works in Foundry. How you doing, Eric? What you been up to, brother? Hateful Red, did you have any other questions for me? I'm trying to think of what to put here. This space bothers me. I feel like every space would... I could put something here that would look like maybe soil or maybe fertilizer or something on the ground. The greenhouse is coming along, though. The details in it, all the extra plants we've added, it looks really beautiful in here. The world's largest dungeon? Isn't there like an actual campaign book called like The Endless Citadel or something like that? That's technically the world's largest dungeon? That's cool though. 33 months, that's insane. Hey Joseph, how you doing? James, of course, yes, we plan to expand outside of the fantasy aesthetic, but right now, we're primarily focusing on fantasy because that's what we promised in our Kickstarter. Dungeon Alchemist was conceived as a Kickstarter project. We had a number of stretch goals that were all hit. We hit every one of our goals, and those stretch goals have evolved into roadmap updates, right? So our next update, Fun with Objects, is a major stretch goal from our Kickstarter. We have 5 remaining stretch goals, and once we deliver on all those and have delivered on all our Kickstarter promises, then we will start offering things outside of what we've promised, beyond the fantasy aesthetic. So things like cyberpunk, sci-fi, we'll offer options for that. As it's been discussed internally, it'll likely be something akin to like an expansion. It'll be optional, and if you want, say, a cyberpunk, expansion, you would purchase it for a nominal fee. It would include, a few dozen room types to add to this, hundreds of thousands of objects, doors, windows, walls, floors, tokens, and biomes, all within the cyberpunk aesthetic. This is just an example, but it would all plug into the Dungeon Alchemist tool set and allow you to build maps within that aesthetic with the tool set that is very simplistic, easy to use, and 3D. Now, keeping this in mind, James, though, right now it's very possible to build aesthetics outside of fantasy, such as sci-fi, cyberpunk, Fallout, stuff like that. Yeah, TikTok is a little rough today. I'm not going to lie. It has been really buggy for me, so I apologize. I appreciate you dropping in and supporting nonetheless, my man. Seriously. In spite of all this. So, Dungeon Alchemist has Steam Workshop integration, right? And you can share maps. Community members of ours have shared maps. There's almost 11,200 maps that are available. Many of them fit existing campaign modules, Lost Mines of Phandelver, Curse of Strahd, Tomb of Annihilation, etc. Others are just custom and very, very beautiful, so you can just download one and use it, or use it as inspiration, or reverse engineer it and learn from it. Additionally, there are assets on the Steam Workshop. Now, the assets on the Steam Workshop can be anything. Users can upload and share 3D models that are STL, FBX, or GLTF/GLB files. So there's sci-fi assets, there's, assets that fit the, more of the fantasy aesthetic. There's some that are cyberpunk, there's some that are apocalyptic, all sorts of different aesthetic assets in here. And there's close to 9,000 of them to supplement the already 6,500 assets stock available in Dungeon Alchemist. So if you need something, say sci-fi, right? You can jump in here and start looking for sci-fi assets and making sci-fi maps right now. There are hundreds of examples of sci-fi maps, cyberpunk maps, etc., modern maps that use Dungeon Alchemist assets and assets from the workshop to build a very acceptable map that fits that aesthetic. So James, what particular setting are you looking for? And I could tell you if it's possible to do it in DA right now. Oh my gosh, you're playing TOS then right now, huh, Stein? Who is happily abnormal? Where's their talk? Hi, I'm on the fence about purchasing Dungeon Alchemist. I've read reviews both for and against, and I understand correctly. You still have 4 or 5 more updates. Happily abnormal. I won't sugarcoat things. Our updates are at an average of 6 to 8 months between them, because we not only have updates that we promised from our Kickstarter, but we add features that are highly requested from our community. We have a living roadmap, so to speak, and a suggestion board called Upvoty. On this suggestion board and roadmap, community members can make suggestions, vote on them, and comment on them. So we not only have our own personal internal, development roadmap, but we take feedback from our community and, if possible, implement it into our development. So our next update, Fun with Objects, was planned from the start from our Kickstarter, but 2 major features in that update, multi-level structures and roofing, were never planned in our Kickstarter and are being implemented. So as a result of these extraneous features, it takes a little bit longer to implement the update. That, and we're a team of 10 people. It's a very indie team. I'm the community manager. I'm the entire community team. We have 5 developers and 4 artists and myself. It is a very small, tight team, but that means we don't waste. We don't have tons and tons of staff that money is being put into that could be put into other things. We focus on the tasks at hand, and we also implement very popular community feedback. So we listen to our community, we focus on our promises and development plans, and additionally, we push out a regular update at least 2 to 3 times a year. And that's not including patches or hot fixes. On top of all that, as the community manager, I can attest, we're very active on Steam. We answer forum posts. We've begun to post like news posts very regularly there. We stream to Steam twice a week. Additionally, we have a weekly newsletter built into Dungeon Alchemist called the Cartomancer Chronicles. There is over 100 editions of the Cartomancer Chronicles now. I didn't even realize that till this last week. So I've been putting these out every week religiously for 100+ editions. We post on our social networking and Discord several times a week. We answer questions and provide support and drop teasers when we're able to. So we are a very active development team, and we try to showcase our development wherever possible and make sure that people understand that this isn't being abandoned or isn't being worked on. In fact, it's being worked on actively every day. So at the end of the day, I hope you give us a chance, Happy Abnormal. And I hope that, the information I shared with you today answers your questions. If you have any other questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions, let me know, and I would be glad to address them throughout the stream. I'll be honest with you though, I think initially they planned on like a 2-year development cycle, maybe leading into 3. But there were so many things our community wanted that we wanted to pack into our development cycle that we opted to expand it just a little bit, stay in early access a little bit longer until we get it just right. And we'd rather under promise and over deliver and make sure Dungeon Alchemist is perfect than, put out a slop product. I feel like we're a lot like, those long-term early access projects that just age like fine wine. They get better and better and better every time you look at them. Oh, for sure. Dungeon Alchemist is around for a while. Not only when you purchase Dungeon Alchemist, it's a one-time purchase for a lifetime license, right? So you get all the past updates and future updates until we leave early access, and that includes, beyond that point, patches and hotfixes. So it's not like we're going to abandon it as soon as we leave early access. Additionally, we plan to offer supplemental support through expansions that are optional to do things like maybe you want cyberpunk instead of fantasy or sci-fi. Additionally, we plan to offer a supplemental like VTT or a VTT Lite type program that would really help you get the most out of Dungeon Alchemist. Though currently our maps export for Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, a number of other virtual tabletops, TV tabletops, projector tabletops, print, etc. You name it, sky's the limit with DA. Melnick, I appreciate that. And I would love to see community insight on what I've just stated. Do you all feel that what I stated is correct and factual? Our development has followed this process, and we really are committed to it, but also we have expanded upon what we promised. And that is part of the reason we have kind of hit some roadblocks and some delays. But it's all for the best. Really, at the end of the day, all of these add-ons have made Dungeon Alchemist the better. But I'll be honest, Happy Abnormal, if you bought Dungeon Alchemist in its current state, I mean, it feels like a very full product, and it's only going to get better with time. Like I said, aging like a fine wine. And you'll have a lifetime license, so you can use it forever. But our devs are very committed to keeping this product going forever. I mean, they love Dungeon Alchemist. It's their baby. Paradise over on TikTok asks, how possible is it to build a second floor? How does it work for second floor? Is it possible? Yes and no. In the current build of Dungeon Alchemist, it's possible to build multi-floor structures, but it's by hand. So it's kind of like building with Legos or blocks or like a dollhouse. You have to kind of stack everything on top of each other and do it manually. The room tool does not support this. It only supports the first floor. This structure here, this chapel that you see here, is the first floor, right? Beautiful little chapel where they host the funerals for this massive cemetery, right? But the bell tower I felt had to be taller, so I built it up 3 stories by hand. So, Paradise, what I did is I used the object menu. Okay, the object menu is very powerful because objects can be placed almost anywhere, especially if you disable collisions. It allows you to raise objects up and down, resize them lower or far larger than their normal capacity, and it also allows you to like rotate them and do all sorts of stuff with them. You can merge them closer together. The collision toggle means fun is on. When collisions are off, fun is on. Remember that. Now, these objects here, they look like the wall on the base floor, but it's actually a freestanding wall that's under objects, structural, freestanding walls. Every wall in here, there's a paired wall in the wall menu. So, hundreds of walls. It's kind of a pain to browse. I'm not going to lie or sugarcoat it. I'm hoping we refine this with time. Now, you can hold control. The wall kind of snaps into place. I'm going to snap it in right there, and then I'm going to raise it up. Notice I'm making kind of a second floor already. And I can duplicate this and put in another one, rotate this one here. Oh, a little bit of a weird angle because the camera's not looking at it. But you get the idea. I can start adding wall faces around this chapel to build a second floor. Now I could have a vaulted ceiling, or if I wanted a floor, I could go back into the object menu, right? Let's go into structural again. Structural carries a lot of weight. There are platforms, right, that are wooden, stone, metal. Some are just a flat piece of stone like this. You can place it in there, raise it up. Guess what? Now you've got yourself a second floor, or maybe even a vaulted ceiling. Start putting these in, snapping them into place, and before you know it, you've already gained another floor. You really just got to have like a staircase going up to it. This is accomplished by hand, methodically, okay? There are hundreds of examples of this on the workshop, though. It is very possible to do this right now. Everyone in our community could do it, but it takes way more time than the average Dungeon Alchemist map. I will not sugarcoat it. But the fact that it's possible is important. You can do it if you commit yourself to learning this skill. And I think it's important to learn. Anyway, moving on. Oh my gosh, Moore, thank you for all the love, bro. I appreciate you, man. You are amazing. So, D Paradise, I actually have a map of my own that I've uploaded on the workshop that has multiple floors. You could check it out if you want. It's called the Wizard's Respite. It is a multi-floor wizard tower with a roof and observatory, and you can pull it apart floor by floor by floor and navigate through it. It's pretty fun. It's just like Lego or blocks, really. That's how I designed it. Now, our next update will do away with this. You won't even need to worry about building stuff by hand after the next update launches, because multi-level and roofing will be part of it, and it's going to be fantastic. Here's a small sample, and this is very alpha footage, so there's no like stairs or angled roofing or anything, but you get the idea. Yeah, Happy Abnormal, I'll show you one in just a moment, okay? I'll be honest with you, multi-level is like, when you dive into Dungeon Alchemist, you know, you're like a Bambi. You're like a very new little deer. You're just learning the product. You're understanding all the ins and outs, all the tools. You take the tutorial. You got a grasp of all the menus, the ins and outs. As you play with Dungeon Alchemist, you start learning all the things it can do, right? And you become a little bit more advanced. Building multi-level currently is a more advanced skill set. It takes a bit of practice. You got to roll up your sleeves, so to speak, kind of rub the elbow grease on and dive into it. But it is possible. Now, in just a few short months, it'll be like clicks to make multi-level. It's going to be so easy. It's crazy. I'm ashamed to see how easy it'll be. Let me show one more clip of multi-level, and then I'll show you an existing multi-level map that I built by hand. Okay? More, how's work today, and what's your next video going to be on TikTok? I'm excited to see your upcoming content. That is a good point there, Tim Walter. You know, not every door and window is ideal for stacking upon. Some have arches and stuff, and they don't stack well. So you got to pick and choose your doors and windows carefully, at least now. In the next update, many of those doors have been depreciated, updated, fixed, or adjusted to accommodate to the update. So multi-level will be pretty straightforward. I want this update so badly, too. Yeah, I think it timed out because we're only at like 4.3K. I appreciate you, though, more. I hope you didn't get in trouble. I don't want your account to get like suspended or anything, or shadow banned or anything, because you got too good of content for that. Right? As we get closer, I'm sure the days are going to just tick by like molasses. But as you can see, it's really easy to generate a structure on top of a structure. In fact, my teaser tomorrow will be showcasing multi-level structure generation. I will be posting it across all our social media and Discord. It's essentially showcasing how easy it is to just jump from floor to floor. So currently downward stairs, when you put them in, they make like a pit, right? They make a hole in the ground. Downward stairs are being depreciated. They're just all just stairs because when you go down now, you can make a room. So there's no reason to have a pitted like staircase that actually goes nowhere or for immersion purposes when it actually can go into a room. Okay, let me show you a multi-level map built in the current build of Dungeon Alchemist that anyone who has a copy, a full copy, legitimate copy, not a pirated copy, because you need access to the workshop to do this, can do. So I uploaded this map. This was actually the previous build I did before I started working on this cemetery. Hey, Half Ogre, how you doing, my man? What's the view count on YouTube today? Can someone fill me in? So this map here I call the Wizard's Respite. And it is a small little, like the wizard wanted to build a getaway where he could train and kind of get away from the world and focus on his studies and maybe just have a place to relax and recover after missions or prepare between missions, quests, if you will. You're doing good, Half Ogre. Glad to hear it. There's 10 viewers? Wow. Fantastic. Thank you so much, YouTube. We're growing on YouTube rather quick. Like, I think consistency is key for growth on any stream platform. If you decide to start streaming or posting videos regularly or streaming regularly will help with that growth, right? A schedule is also paramount. Like if you stream a couple steady days at the same time, same bat channel every week, good idea because people will find you there every week. Now, we've been doing this on YouTube now for a few months. We were only on Twitch until like 6 months ago when we opened up multi-streaming to all platforms. Right now we've got 15 people watching on Steam. Steam jumps up to like 40 or 50 viewers sometimes. YouTube, we have 10, sometimes jumps up to 20. We have 28, 30 people watching on just Twitch. TikTok varies based on algorithmic presence. I've seen anywhere from 2 viewers to 100 viewers. It is so impressive to see all the viewers of our community getting on their platform of choice and supporting us here on the stream. So I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for supporting these community initiatives, the streams, etc. So whoever is watching on whatever platform, thank you so much. Okay, back to this build. This is a 4-story wizard's tower. Okay, the top tower is an observatory. I built this almost entirely out of objects. In fact, the entire structure, save for the door, is an object. The door area is a little teeny, like 2x2 room. Everything else is objects that you can find in the object menu or on the Steam Workshop in the asset menu. Okay? The first thing here that you see at the top, you have this lovely conical shingled roof with a weather vane and a little like wire running down. Okay, I'm going to disable collision so I can move this more freely. Grab the roof, pull it to the side. I have named this floor the observatory. You have some, charts and some observing equipment, an external patio with a smaller telescope, a larger telescope. Remember that wire on the roof? It runs directly to this current piece, which connects to these arcane batteries that charge up when there's thunderstorms, lightning storms, store the energy so you could use it to power this massive, massive telescope. Star charts, all sorts of stuff in here. Little tiny, treasures from the various astral observations. And of course, a doomsday device. Okay. Now, each of these levels are designed to be pulled apart. I built this very meticulously and in an order of operations with this in mind, okay? Every floor in this building, all the objects in that room are stacked on the floor in that room. Meaning the walls, this telescope, everything in this room is on this floor piece in the center. If I move this floor piece, they all move as a singular piece. That's big brain building when you're building by hand, because it allows you to move this floor up and down as one piece, rescale it as one piece, or snap it into place as a singular piece, which saves you a ton of time. So, moving on, I'm going to pull this floor aside. The next floor is the bedroom, okay? There's some storage for clothing, treasures. You've got a bed, a bath, a little wash station, a central kind of spiral stair going down. This was the stair going up to the observatory. Pull this to the side. Here we have the library and kind of I guess study, maybe alchemy station, you know. And then below that, you have the hearth and kitchen. And there's a little hatch here, which actually goes to a secret escape tunnel on the back end there, because he's a paranoid wizard. He wouldn't have gotten this high a level if he wasn't. Now, every one of these floors is actually navigable in first person. A lot of you are being like, wait, what? Yeah, you can drop a token in here, click on the icon, the eyeball icon there, and go into first person and walk around. The paradise for this hand build, yes. In the future, not a problem. Our next update will export every single floor as a separate floor, as a separate map. But when you build maps by hand with each individual floor, yes. But I built it with purpose for a reason. Let me explain. I can delete the roof, file, save as, floor 4, export floor 4. Delete floor 4, file, save as, floor 3, export floor 3. It'll maybe take me 5 minutes to export all of these levels and set them as separate scenes in, say, Foundry or Fantasy Grounds. It wouldn't take too long at all. So each of these levels need to be exported as their own separate level. The roof with the map below, one level. But I built it as a way so anyone can download one map and export it as 5. It's designed to be sliced apart very easily. In fact, let me show you. I can pull off the roof, delete it. Now I can go to File, Save As. Now I have Wizard's Respite, Floor 4. Right? Very simple. Save, done. It takes moments. It's all because I used a very special order of operations while building this map. And that's just a little bit of experience. Well, that's why it's smart to have a master map that is your main map, have a backup of that same somewhere else, and maybe even in the cloud on the workshop. That way, if you accidentally override it with autosave, not a problem. Or just disable autosave when you're doing save as's. My autosave set to 5 minutes for that reason. Rev. 1 minute autosave taught me a lesson really quick. Now let's go down to the... Here we have some formulas on his work boards here. Some different potions he's working on, his personal library. And then, of course, the hearth and kitchen. Got some food storage, place to prep and cook, wash his dishes. That's the entry with like a gate, more food storage, and then that little hatch I mentioned earlier. Of course, the table. This was built entirely by hand. I would have to wager it took me about 10-15 hours to build this by hand. But it's very possible to export this as several scenes and use it in your virtual tabletop of choice. But yeah, Control-Z, Control-Y are very, very, very important part of building with this because you can undo, redo. Anyway, did that answer all questions related to multi-level? I hope I addressed it in kind there. At least multi-level by hand. Let me show you some clips of multi-level from our next update. so you can understand what we're pushing towards. You really won't need to, rely on these tricks or stacking objects or getting really advanced building. It'll be super simple in the next update. Honestly, yeah, the Control Z on Q goes almost indefinitely. I think I've gotten it to like 200 or 300 like actions before I just gave up. I hope you all are enjoying these teasers and information related to multi-level. Pretty much any 3D, modeling or sculpting program that supports the file types we offer. Like a good jumping, like a launching point if you've done nothing in 3D like sculpting or modeling is Tinkercad. It's free, it's web-based, so you don't need a powerful computer. You can make simplistic, basic models and it gives you an idea of how to use it or how to make that kind of stuff. But a lot of people in our community use Blender, also free, but much more advanced. I will say this, I know nothing about Blender, but there's several creators in our community have uploaded several thousand models combined that they know tons. And they offer support in our Discord to anyone who asks. So if you are interested in, uploading models to the workshop or for your local collection, you can definitely hop in our Discord and create a support thread, or the wiki guidance is rather extensive. So, Tom Quinney, the multi-level you're seeing in this clip here will likely be available in Q2 of this year, so sometime between April and June, though that is subject to change if there's delays, unexpected delays. But the multi-level tower you saw that I shared earlier, that's available on the workshop right now. It's called the Wizard's Respite. Anyone can build that, actually. It just takes a little bit of elbow grease to build something like that. In fact, I can get you a link for that if you'd like, for the map. You can take a closer look at it. In fact, for anyone. Atlam, can you drop this link I'm sharing on Twitch over on YouTube really quick? So, Called Shots Entertainment, that's a great question, over on Twitter, asks, how will multi-level work for, like, say, Foundry? So we're opting for the simplest solution to work with the most virtual tabletops at the same time, okay? So we're going for the KISS methodology, keep it simple, stupid, right? Or keep it stupid, simple. So each level will export as their own scene or their own JPEG or video. So essentially, like in this instance here, this ground floor of the pub would be its own floor, its own map, its own scene on your virtual tabletop of choice. So you would build the map in Dungeon Alchemist, but when you export it, it would export as several files. Basement, and in this case, a ground floor. If there was a floor above, it would also have the floor above. Each of them is represented by the name of the map and their floor name. You would set those up as separate scenes in your virtual tabletop of choice. And then when your players transition, say, up a stair, you load that scene. Or down a stair, load that scene. You can also implement things like plugins, modules, etc. I know Foundry has, for instance, what is it, Monk's active tiles. So if your players hit, say, this hatch over here, they open the hatch, it would load the floor below. Or if they hit a staircase, it would expand to the scene below. Levels is also a great option. I appreciate you, Quinny, either way. Thank you for boosting the... anyone lurking on any for those lurking on multiple platforms, seriously, let me give you some serious knuckles right now. Appreciate the boost. You know, as an indie team, all the eyes on our streams, on the eyes on our teasers, and all the various platforms we're streaming on is only going to help us as a whole. So if you're watching on multiple platforms, I really appreciate it. So, Happy Abnormal, that's a great question, one I'd really love to dive into. Our AI is essentially what you would call last-gen AI. It's procedural gen, or proc gen. So, the AI that you're familiar with in, like, video games for pretty much the last 10, 15 years, but put into a map builder. It's not generative AI like ChatGPT or Midjourney or anything like that, where you can type in a phrase and it'll kind of generalize what you wanted based on what you said. Honestly, though, I prefer proc gen because it gives much more approximate results. So you can generate, you know, entire forests, deserts, winter wonderlands, all sorts of stuff using our procedural gen, because it'll say, oh, should there be a tree here? No. Maybe we'll put a rock there instead. It has an algorithmic preference for where it puts things to make it look more realistic. Generative AI, in my opinion, it needs some work until it gets good at realistic map making. Additionally, generative AI is kind of problematic and unethical. More often than not, they're scraping data from public places like forums, images, art, etc. that people don't give them permission to use. Dungeon Alchemist doesn't do that at all. There is no generative AI in Dungeon Alchemist. At no point do we scrape any public data, art, assets, maps, or anything to train our AI. It's trained entirely in-house. All of the assets in Dungeon Alchemist are made by our team of talented artists, and only our assets, the ones made by our team, are used in the AI. So at no point is there any like unethical AI used in Dungeon Alchemist, which I think is a very, very, very important point to bring up. In the world we're going into, you know, AI is very important. I think it's going to be a big part of where we go in the future as, you know, humanity as a whole. But I do think going forward, it should be done ethically and, you know, respecting artists' rights, respecting creator rights, respecting writers' rights. Now, that kind of is a side tangent. Dungeon Alchemist, though, is quite intuitive, and you can guide it quite a bit. Let me show you really quickly with a generative map, or a new map, just for you, okay? Happy Abnormal, I'm going to let you pick the biome here. I would say avoid dark parchment or green screen because they're utility biomes with specific purpose, whereas all the other biomes have actual lands and like plants and environment to them. So Badlands through snow, pick one there, Happy Abnormal. Fey Plain, you got it. We'll go to Fey Plain. Now, there's all these different height options, flat, hills, mountain, ravine. Pick one of these for me, okay? Hey, Mosey, how are you? Will exporting multi-level that require one building per map, what if you have two structures? If they're on the same level, they'll be the same map. The environment, everything outside of the building, it'll be just like an existing map. But if there's a second level, a second floor, each of those second floors is a new map altogether. So all the second floors will be one map, or the subfloors, the basements will be one map. Oh, nice. It's game day. You took the week off. Are you feeling okay? Mosey, I hope you're all right. Okay, so we got ravine. There's all these vegetation options. I would say avoid no vegetation because the Fey vegetation is beautiful, so pick one of those for me if you could. You have those immunity issues? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. You know, my wife, she's very immunocompromised, suffers from lupus. And honestly, we have to be so careful at certain times of the year just so she doesn't get extra sick, because it can make her, sick for months. Let's pick a water option here. River, lake, anything like that. River, are you having fun picking all the options for your first map, Happy Abnormal? Now, this part here is kind of not as useful anymore. Back in the day when you were generating rooms, you could only pick 3 levels to generate the map: water level, plateau, mountaintop. Not important anymore because you can raise and lower the building before you generate it. So I'm just going to create this map. I'm going to generate a map for you. You got to pick all the options for it. And by the way, you got to get an idea of how much options you have, right? And each of those biomes has their own drop downs, right? So here we generated a Crystal Forest Fey Plain map with a river. Now let's go to the top down so you can kind of see what it generated for you. What I love to do in the Fey Plain though is adjust the lighting. Personally, I love the Fey Plain with like this purple light. Also, the river, I think it's fun when you adjust the water and make it a little bit different. For instance, we could make it molten gold so it just looks like honey, or make it acid. You could do all sorts of stuff with it. It's an interesting shape for sure, like an X cross section here. I've not seen that before, but it's cool. So the crystals glow, they emanate, but they don't emanate a light source per se. If you wanted them to emanate a light source in your VTT of choice, you could take a light from, say, the light menu, like a candle, for example, and put it inside of it. You could even alter it to the same color and add some more brightness. So when you export, it would export light with it, but it just just glows, and it is immersive kind of glowing product. Hey, Tim, see you later, my friend. Thank you for being here. So what do you think, though, Abnormal? It only took a few clicks to generate this. Let's say you don't like the layout of this. You could just change it and generate it again. You're like, I don't really like this ravine in this river. There's another generation one. Maybe we don't want a ravine. Let's do hills. Generate another one. You're purchasing it now. Well, welcome to the Dam Fam. First off, I gotta say that. So when you join our community, when you purchase a copy of Dungeon Alchemist, you're welcomed into our community as a member of one of 3 factions. I guess you get to pick: the Dam Fam, the Damily, or the Damnation. Okay? Honestly, it's really nothing important. It's just for fun, whichever one you feel is most appealing to you. But when you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, they're saved as our proprietary map format called Dungeon Alchemist Map, or DAM. So it's like a JPEG instead of JPG, it's .DAM. So we lean into that. We have Dam streams, Dam challenges, Dam fam, all that stuff. Is this your rock candy collection, Wardian? I knew you were up to no good. Let it snow? Let's add some snow here, shall we? Snow. Let's get rid of that weird lighting, though. The purple isn't conducive to snow. Put some snow on top of all the crystals. Honestly, the Fey biome will wreck potato PCs. If your computer is ran by a hamster or 2 that take intermittent breaks, and be careful loading the Fey biome because it is dense with objects. So Tom Quinney over on YouTube at Happy Abnormal says, you won't regret it. It's a lot of fun creating maps, and the more time you spend, the easier and quicker it gets making them. I choose to sabotage all 3 factions. Oh my goodness, Wardian. Why are you always a troublemaker? Goblins. Always troublemakers. Damnation for the win from Chim. For sure. Yeah, Eric, if you go into the menu here and you disable natural animations while you're building, and also set to low while you're building, it helps tremendously. In fact, before I generate new maps, I usually set to low, because Having it on high when you generate can take forever. You can always change it to high after, and the maps will always export in high, but build quality you can have in low all the time to really squeeze out some frames. But when you have the quality turned up, the lighting is much better. I'm not going to lie. Watch, you get shadows and stuff. And my computer's a tank. It still handles it. Oh no! Wardian, where are all my socks? Give them back. You are such a troublemaker. I'm going to generate another biome really quick. Let's go to the skeletal plains. One of the little, I'd say less used biomes, but it is incredibly... Ooh, with the snow, it's kind of useless. Let's turn off the snow, though, as soon as we can. So the skeletal plains biome is like a hellscape. It just looks like maybe there was a massive battle here and no one really cleaned it up. There's a blood river, there's skeletons and bones for miles. You like this, Neo Soul? You store loot in stolen dirty socks. That's a mood. But you know what? I chase your journey, my friend. Whatever makes you happy. One thing that's fun about the hellscape biome is the paints that are available in the terrain. There's like this tryptophobic kind of warning y'all if you kind of get grossed out by this stuff. It gets a little kind of gross. Honestly, it's kind of repulsive to stare at a glance, but it's kind of interesting at the same time. There are, you know, different styles of kind of gross flesh, maybe even some like kind of rotting flesh landscapes. You can even change the water so it's more like bile or fetid water. Not at all. Anyone and everyone can stream Dungeon Alchemist. You have my permission as the community manager to stream Dungeon Alchemist to your heart's content. You can share videos, TikToks, whatever. Worldwide webbings of all of your Dungeon Alchemist related content. Where you may run into issues is if you're using Dungeon Alchemist for commercial profit. So if you are making maps for resale or have a Patreon, or maybe you have like, I don't know, you could be part of Critical Role and you have like a massively successful stream that makes like, you know, tons of money per stream. When you use Dungeon Alchemist in a commercially related situation, once you surpass $100,000 in annual gross revenue, you need to purchase a commercial license, which you actually talked to me about. So you would reach out to me and we would discuss, you know, your business, your needs, and stuff like that. At this point in time, none of the map makers in our community have surpassed that boundary, though there are a few developers and game makers who have worked with Dungeon Alchemist at a commercial level. Essentially, though, we understand everyone in our community is a creator, okay? Everyone that's a map maker is a creator, whether you're a DM, a streamer, a YouTuber, whatever, you know? You're a content creator, right? And we understand that you want to use those maps. Maybe you are a paid DM and you host a campaign session several times a week. As long as you don't surpass $100,000 using Dungeon Alchemist maps, you don't even need to reach out to us. If you are a Patreon creator or a commission map maker, don't need to worry unless you surpass 100,000. Can we get a 4.1, Article 4.1 drop in chat really quick? Can you just type 4.1 for me really quick, Atlam? So, Article 4.1 of our terms and conditions, or terms of service, which is available on our website, and we're dropping a link here in Twitch. Can you drop it on YouTube as well? That Article 4.1 of our terms and service gives you the whole legalese version of what I just said. But it outlines, you know, contact information if you decide you want to pursue a commercial license or if you feel you need one. Additionally, gives you all the legal information related to that. So please feel free to check it out. But no, we encourage you We have a category on Twitch that's the Dungeon Alchemist category. I fought tooth and nail to get that category. We also have categories on Facebook and YouTube and a few other platforms. So please, by all means, if you want to stream Dungeon Alchemist, go for it. And we appreciate it so much as an indie team. Like, our growth is primarily word of mouth. We can't afford major advertising like big companies can because we're not a AAA dev company. So we grow when you, as a community, share your maps, stream Dungeon Alchemist, tell people about it, give good reviews, repost it on your social media. So please, 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 please stream it. I appreciate it so much. How does the category work on Twitch? So when you go live on Twitch, you can pick a category to go live to. Every other stream or so, I switch categories. We have a category just labeled Dungeon Alchemist, like it's a game on Twitch that you can pick. Or you can pick Dungeons and Dragons, which I did today. I do it alternatively. So I'll pick Dungeons and Dragons because a lot of people in the D&D category watching are into map making. They're DMs themselves, so it's kind of advertising, right? The Dungeons... The DA category, the Dungeon Alchemist category, it's smart to stream to if you're a commission creator or maybe, you just want people to see you make maps because people looking for maps are going to find it there. Hey, Neo Soul God, thank you for that raid. Much appreciated. Knuckles, my friend. Knuckles. Thank you so much. We just got a raid. Right as we're wrapping up, sadly, but we will hang out for a little bit, showcase what we worked on today, and then wrap up the stream. Thank you for the love, Neo Soul God. So today, we worked on finishing up the pond here. We wrapped it up with a little fencing and put a staircase into it. We have this little sunflower garden I added today because I wanted to fill this dead space. We worked more on the greenhouse, which I feel is pretty close to completion. I'm feeling pretty good with it right now. Lots of details in the greenhouse. And remember, the greenhouse is his kind of private, most rare and, special plants to him. Some of them are exclusive to very, certain biomes. So they're kept in these, kind of locked areas where they can be kept safe, like fey mushrooms and plants or cacti. So I feel like we made a lot of progress with the greenhouse today. I do want to do something with this space, and I'm not sure what. I'll be thinking about it the next week. Maybe just more soil and kind of stuff just sitting there. But we're pretty much done on the caretaker's property, aside from some minor decoration in his room and bathroom, which shouldn't take us but maybe 20 minutes next stream. So when we move on, we're going to head over to here, and it's going to be all graves. It's going to be graves for days. We're going to put some pauper graves, I think, over here, right? And then over here will be terraced kind of family plots where there's mausoleums and kind of private fenced off little areas, kind of akin to this, but smaller. Wow, Neo Soul, nice. Are you hosting a campaign right now? Are you, and if you are, what system is it? Or what kind of work do you do if you use our maps for it? I'd love to hear about it. But here we have a private plot, which I kind of see as maybe a royalty plot, where they have all their mausoleums and burials of their various, kings, queens, princes, princesses, dukes, etc. But yeah, we're going to be diving into graves for the next few streams, pretty much after we finish those finishing touches over here at the caretaker's cottage. Very excited to wrap up this map, though. Let's look at this. The entry point here. Tom, please don't feel conscious of what you created compared to me. Okay, I've got over 3,000 1,000 hours of map making in Dungeon Alchemist. Not to mention I'm the community manager for the Dungeon Alchemist community. So it's like, you really shouldn't be, it's not apples to oranges, you know what I mean? Like, I've been making maps for over 3 years. I've got a decent amount of experience, and that's just in Dungeon Alchemist. I've been making maps, say, 20 plus years as a whole, with tons of tools. So please don't let my work get you down. If anything, let it show you what's possible, what you can aspire to as a map maker, and learn from. These maps, I always upload them to the workshop so you can reverse engineer them, use them in your own campaigns, etc. At the end of the day, my job here is to inspire you as a map maker and cartographer, not to make you feel like you're not doing a good job. I really just love to teach people how to do these things, ways to do it, you know, different options for their map making. Your players didn't vibe with it, Luis. I'm sorry to hear that. Griffin Helix, if a bat lands on top of a grave of a man, is it then Batman? No. I would say no. Let's I would love to hear your players' feedback, Luis, if you could share with me. Because as the community manager for DA, I would love to know what they didn't vibe with so I can maybe pass it on. Great, Quinny. I'd love to hear that. Honestly, my whole point of these streams is to inspire you and to give you, you know, guidance in your map making, guidance in your campaigns, give you a place to hang out as a DM and a cartographer as well. Like I always say, how these are a third space where everyone can be. Whether you own Dungeon Alchemist or not, we love inviting people here to hang out with us and be a part of our community. And, you know, as Dungeon Alchemist community grows and the tool becomes more advanced, I just see this community growing and this space becoming a place where a lot of people want to be. Daydream Walker, thank you for the kind words. Love DA, best tool I've ever used for D&D map making. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think my chat bot crashed. Anyway, I'm looking now. We are about 10-15 past the hour, so we got to wrap up. But, oh my gosh, today's stream was very productive. We finished up work in the greenhouse, laid a plot of sunflowers with a stubborn sunflower, finished off the work around the pond. Yeah. Oh, so they thought Dungeon Alchemist was a VTT. Huh. I wonder how they got that impression. Yeah, we never really gave off the idea that we are, though I do understand it would be pretty cool to play within Dungeon Alchemist as a whole, right? Because you have so much, you know, detail and whatnot. Though I will say I've played on tables as a player where the DM would stream the first-person view or like a different angle of the map so we could kind of get a different perspective. Or they'd follow us along in first person or even fly over in the cinematic view, like if you have a familiar, so they could give you a sky view. I can understand how some players may not vibe with it, though, especially if they want to be playing in this environment, as it's not, you know, an all-inclusive map-making tool and virtual tabletop, as you said. However, in the future, we plan to supplement Dungeon Alchemist with its own, you know, VTT Lite or virtual tabletop of sorts to give it, I guess, give your gameplay more oomph and more compatibility with Dungeon Alchemist maps. Though what that will be and what it will entail and when it will be launched remains to be seen at this point. Kind of more just a blip in the future. If Spider-Man bites another spider, would it become Spider? It would become Spider-Man Spider, actually. If Spider-Man bit, if he bit a wrestler, what would he become? Spider slam. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for participating in today's stream. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you all. Whether you were actively participating in our many chats across all our platforms today, whether it was Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Steam, whether you were lurking, or, you know, maybe you raided us, shout out to Neo Soul God for that raid, much appreciated. Or maybe you are a new follower today. Shout out to Matt or Happy Abnormal. Couple new followers today. Thank you so much. Remember, if you enjoyed the stream, hit that like, hit that share, hit that follow, subscribe, whatever your platform is conducive to. You know, every platform is different. That way you can find us in the future and you don't miss out on any of our future streams. We stream several times a week, 3 times a week, in fact. We stream 2 streams a week as a multi-stream where you can tune into all these platforms and say hello. The other stream is on Wednesday. It's a Discord exclusive stream. So if you're not a member of our Discord, you're missing out on one of our weekly streams. Discord can't be included in the multi-stream, so it has its own stream. But we stream Monday, which we did today, which is Mapmaker Monday, where I build a map in real time for you to watch, follow along, learn. But it's mainly an AMA stream where you can ask questions in Ask Me Anything format related to Dungeon Alchemist and get real-time support from someone who has hundreds of thousands of hours of experience with the program from the staff of Dungeon Alchemist, from the dev team. So it's getting hands-on guidance, walkthroughs. It's like having a professor at a college give you guidance, right? Now, Mapmaker Monday is great, but we have other streams. Every Saturday we host a stream. It alternates as a different theme every Saturday. One Saturday is the Dam stream. The alternate Saturday is the Dam Challenge stream. So this upcoming Saturday is the Dam stream. We showcase maps and assets from the Steam Workshop, showcasing all these beautiful maps, giving you links and information about them, reverse engineering them and teaching you how they were made, but also providing real-time AMA support. The alternating stream, the Dam Challenge, a little bit different theme. As you've been seeing, there's a little marquee this way, adjacent to me. It says the Dam Challenge theme is maze. Using maze as inspiration, make a map of any shape or size, submit it to the Dam Challenge channel in our Discord before April 4th, end of day, 11:59 p.m. on Friday, April 4th. As long as you follow the rules pinned at the top of the channel, your map becomes an entrance in an entry in our bi-weekly map making contest called the Dam Challenge. I pick a map from all the entries as the winner. The winner gets a $10 Hero Forge gift card. Their map is featured first on the stream, getting them about 20 minutes, 30 minutes of FaceTime with our community. And lastly, it's featured in our weekly newsletter. So it also gets more FaceTime that way. Good way to get a lot of eyes on your work if you're Patreon creator, commission creator, or maybe you just want to flex your Mapmaker muscle against all the creators in our cartographer community. Either way, the Dam Challenge is really a challenge against yourself. Push yourself to new limits as a Mapmaker and DM. Make a new map outside of your comfort zone, something you may not have made before. A maze. You have a couple weeks to challenge yourself to do that, so by all means, dive in if you're interested. Now, thank you so much for participating in today's stream. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Oh, I just saw we got a sub. Tom Quinney, thank you for the sub. Much appreciated. We'll see you on a future stream, my friend. If you enjoyed the stream today, if you could do me a favor, drop into any of our social media or our Discord. Let us know in general or, with a comment. Hey, had fun on the stream today. Thank you so much. Hope to catch you in the future. Something along those lines. That way, we know you enjoyed the stream and our devs see that you enjoyed the stream, because if they don't tune in and see the chat, they don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time. I give a damn. Mac out. Bye. I'm going to run a Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to wrap up the stream.
But can it handle curves?
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 Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map-making application for role-playing games, now comes with both round and diagonal walls. Create amazing professional maps for your players in seconds. Get it now on the Steam store.
All right, everyone. We'll see you around. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you at office hours in our Discord on Wednesday. Back out. Bye.